Hi, I'm Scott Castline, and I am so excited to be working with Wool Life to install loose fill sheep's wool insulation in our Ram ProMaster camper van. So first I want to talk about framing. The way we did our framing is so that our vertical studs are the furthest thing out from the wall of the van. So no metal bit is going to stick out further. We're not going to have to build around anything when we go to put up our walls. So you'll see, this is one of the bigger pieces of metal here, and this slides perfectly along our studs. What we're going to do is when we go to install the insulation, is we're just going to be stapling up a mesh material over the front of these studs, and we're going to be blowing in all of the insulation behind that. We'll cut little holes, put a tube in there, and it'll just fill it all up. One of the advantages of loose fill insulation is that it is able to fill any size gap. You can put it in the nooks and crannies. You can fill a 4-inch gap, you can fill a 2-inch gap. So whatever you're working with in your van, when you have your windows and your framing up, it can work with any of those spaces, including the doors, just anything. So it's a really nice, easy product to work with. You don't have to worry about it being too thick and compressing it and reducing its R value. You also don't have to worry about having 2 inches of batt insulation with a 3-inch gap and wasting that space. So this way you're able to utilize every bit of space that's behind your walls. So for our floor, we actually use the same wood beams as our framing, and we use Sikaflex to glue them down to the floor instead of using self-tapping screws. And what we're going to do is we're going to staple the same mesh down on top of these, and we'll have about 1 inch of loose fill insulation on the floor. And on the ceiling, we didn't want to lose too much headroom, so we are going to have about 1 inch of insulation on the ceiling. And instead of staples, we're actually going to be using liquid nails to adhere the mesh to these cross beams, these channels up on the roof here.
I want to make sure that this is even with that molding. At that point, we have the triangle here, all the way to the. You pull it that way, and then for you to be able to wire. Yes, what we are going to do is we are going to part, that part, and that part. Now I'm going to start stitching. other side was short. So I'm letting it a little longer. Part staple here. Just make sure that there are no wires. Go for it. How's this? Wait a minute.